Here are step-by-step guides for those of you who plan to apply for study visa by yourselves. Because some of you guys are actually on a budget, some of you will prefer to apply by yourselves instead of paying anybody processing fee to assist you. The first thing you need to do when trying to apply for a student visa is to translate your documents. Where can you translate this document? Two places. First, at the Russian embassy in your country. Take your document there. Before you take a document there, you need to book an appointment. Then on your appointment, you go to the embassy and you pay for the translation fee and they help you do it. Second option is find somebody in Russia, scan your document in a PDF format and send to this person. This person will actually help you translate it. It is more faster to translate in Russia than to translate at the Russian embassy, because at the Russian embassy in your country you have to book an appointment, but over here there are still queue to do translation also, but it is more faster when you scan your document and send to somebody living in Russia. So these are the two ways you could translate your document. After translating your document, translation and notarizing your document, you can now send them to the university of your choice. Some of you guys always contact me about Rural State Federal University. Somebody even contacted me this morning asking me about that university. I will tell you the same thing I tell others. That university actually asks you for proof of fund for them to give you admission. In fact, I went on their website this morning and I discovered they even increased their tuition for preparatory program. Last year they charged 190,000 rubles, and this year they're charging 250,000 rubles. No, 250,000 rubles is actually over 4.5, around 4.5 million or even above. So, and they actually ask for proof of fund. Universities in Russia, I think this is the only one I actually know that ask students for proof of fund. When you go to the Russian embassy in your country, in Nigeria, they do not ask for proof of fund there to submit, but the university actually asks you for $4,500 as proof of fund, as part of the requirement for you to get admission at their university. So if you're actually considering this university, I will tell you to just take your mind off there. Find other university because it's too expensive. There are more cheaper ones than 250,000 rubles. So after sending your document to the university, you should receive an email like this. Something like the right, we've received your document and please wait for other, further information. That's some universities will write you, some of them won't actually write you. Those ones that they don't write you, please keep writing them until they reply, because if they do not reply your message confirming they've received your document, they won't actually process it. So you need to put pressure after you send your document, and it will be better for you to call them, but since you can't call them, you keep writing and writing and writing until they reply. This is step number 2. Let's move to step number 3. Step number 3, the university will process your admission. They call it dogovor or contract, but for in English language it's admission. So they'll send you this admission document. Within some universities take 3 days to give you the admission. The admission, some take 1 month, some take 3 weeks. So it depends. But within a month, you should get an admission. These admissions are usually written in Russian language. On rare occasion, will universities actually put English one side and Russian language one side. But even if it's actually in Russian language, you don't need to panic. You're coming to a Russian university, so I assume you don't expect them to write in English often. So the contract or the admission document is always in Russian language. When you receive this document, it actually contains what to do and what not to do. What will you do for them to cancel your visa, or for you to break the contract, or breach the contract and so on. So if you want to study it, please go ahead. If you don't want to study, just pay the tuition fee and get over with it. Then number 4 steps, you need to pay the tuition fee. Some universities will actually tell you pay 50% before you arrive in Russia. Some will tell you you need to pay the 100% upon admission. So because due to the sanction in Russia at the moment, you can't send money in or out of Russia. you actually need to find somebody in Russia, give them that person where you give money. You have to trust them. You give this person this money for the person to help you convert into Russian rubles. We have Nigerians here who actually deal with money exchange. When you pay with Naira, they give you Russian rubles. That's how you convert the money. There's no other way for you to send money to Russia at the moment. But like I said, you need to trust this person. I will tell you the disadvantage at the end of this video. So when you've confirmed the amount in rubles, the tuition fee, send the equivalent to this person you trusted, this person you trust in Russia. Then this person will actually find these people that does exchange, give them the rubles, then pay for your tuition fee, then give you the receipt for you to send to the university. After paying the tuition fee, you need to send the university the confirmation, which is the receipt you received from whoever paid this fee. Then on the receipt, they need to indicate the name of the student, the contract number, the name of the payer, whoever paid the amount, the money, and most especially your name and the contract number. Every admission here has a contract number. You need to impute it when you're paying the money. You can pay two ways, either using your mobile banking or actually going to the bank yourself to make the payment in person. Then after you've sent the payment slip to the university, please make sure the university acknowledge this receipt. If not, they will not process your admission. So after the university replies you that we've acknowledged your receipt, then you need to wait around. Some universities actually say 40 days, some say 50 days, some say 35 days. So it depends on whatever university you apply for. That's going to depend on when your admission, your invitation will be ready. Like I said, some invitation you receive them within 30 days, some you receive them 40 or 50 days, depending. It differs, but let's just say 40 days at max. Your IV should be sent to you by the school to your email. Because you've received your invitation from the university, your business with the university will pause for a while. You don't need to contact them anymore. Then the step 6 is you need to take your educational documents, be it WAEC or NECO or your BSc transcript. You take this document to the Ministry of Education. Even though I heard that the Ministry of Education have kind of changed their process a bit, but they still, I heard they want to do it electronically right now, but right now they still accept documents. You just take your document to the Ministry of Education. Listen, you give them, they will upload your document, however they want to do it, I don't know. You give them a document, then after they upload the document, you take this document back to the you take it to Foreign Affairs. Foreign Affairs, when you get to Foreign Affairs, please make sure you tell them you want to use this document at the Russian embassy. The reason is that if you fail to tell them and they put any signature on your certificate, the Russian embassy will not accept it. Russian embassy only accepts a signature they recognize. So that's why when you go to the embassy, when you go to the Foreign Affairs, you need to emphasize that this document, now Russian embassy, I won't use them. You need to tell them, so that they will take this document to the person that signs for Russia. So when you go to the embassy will actually accept it. And note, authentication actually expires every 90 days. I might not know all the process of authentication of document because I actually haven't done it before, but you know, I have students who always go there and I always guide them how to do it. So, but because you want to do it by yourself, this is how you do it. Then the authentication always expires every 90 days. So if you've authenticated a document over 90 days period, you need to re-authenticate it again. So you should take note. So now you've authenticated the document and you also have your student visa. You need to do your HIV certificate. You make sure it's negative. You do hepatitis B and C test. You make sure it's negative. You do an online visa application. For the fact you've not done it before, I'm not going to suggest for you to do it. I heard there's this cafe at the front of embassy. They could actually help you do it, because if you've not done it before, you're going to do mistake. Online visa application, HIV test, hepatitis, your passport, 2 passport photographs, your international passport, and your educational document. These are what you need to take to the embassy to submit for your student visa. And remember, I told you about trust. just in case if your visa isn't granted, then you need to contact the university and tell them the document, your visa was not granted and you want a refund. The university will give you a document for you to fill and send back to them, sign on it. Then after doing all this thing, the university will process the money back only to the account that made the payment. So if somebody like Emeka paid your tuition fee and you and Emeka had problem after like 1 month, then you want to get a refund and you want to use somebody wey name na Chidi, it's not going to work. Now the same person will pay that money, now that account the money they go back. So whoever you pay that money for you need to hold their hand tight. That's why I said you need to trust them, because if you're that person can't let that fight, the money go back to his account, he's not going to give you back. I've heard some stories about some people not refunding money and so on. So you need to be careful who they give money to use pay tuition for you. So I think that's basically all for now about this. But and if your visa is granted, you will snap that visa, send them to the university. Last year I had a student that actually applied for a visa. For example, let's say I used Imo State University. For example, Imo State University get admission for this person. This person went to the embassy to get a visa and they put Unilag visa for him. They put a visa, then they put name of school, Unilag. So if I don't know about this one now, the person would have fly to Russia and the school would have rejected his visa. They would have rejected the visa because the school that actually invites you come to Russia, that's the school you're actually going to go. If you go to IMSU, if you go to you have IMSU invitation, they come put Unilag visa for you. Now the school, they don't go accept you, Unilag don't go accept you because they don't give you invitation. Now just error at the embassy. So make sure you check the name of your school, or better, send it to your school. Send it to your school so that they will confirm by themselves, now our visa be this or not be our visa. So that they will know immediately. So these are all the steps you need to take. If you get any question, leave it for my DM. I will see you now later. Bye.